2 True Scary Horrorfic Vampire Stories, YouTube, English. Story 1, The Haunting Call of the Rain. The rain came down in curtains, each drop sounding like a delicate whisper against the windowpane. The city streets, once bustling with life, were now swallowed by the relentless downpour, transforming into eerie rivers that flowed with an unnatural grace. The towering buildings that had once been symbols of human achievement now stood as ominous canyon walls, casting long shadows that seemed to breathe with a life of their own. In the midst of the storm, lightning flashed sporadically, illuminating the darkness like a fleeting nightmare. The flashes revealed twisted silhouettes of the cityscape, distorted and bathed in sickly hues. But as quickly as the light came, darkness swallowed everything again, leaving behind an unsettling void. The thunder that followed was deafening, its earth-shattering claps resonating through the ground. As I trudged through the drenched streets, my footsteps seemed insignificant against the overwhelming symphony of nature's fury. I sought refuge in my unmarked squad car, the only semblance of safety in this spectral deluge. As I walked, my baseball cap shielded my eyes from the relentless rain, and I couldn't help but notice the storm drains struggling to cope with the torrential onslaught. The city's infrastructure was being tested beyond its limits, a battle it seemed destined to lose. But amidst the chaos, my attention was inexplicably drawn to a dimly lit alleyway. Perhaps it was the perfect timing of a lightning flash, or maybe a subtle movement caught from the corner of my eye. Regardless, I found myself peering into the darkness, only to witness a chilling tableau. In that alley, a figure cloaked in obsidian stood hunched over a petite woman. His grip lifted her feet from the ground, her lifeless form swaying like a macabre puppet. Her body seemed weightless, as if the very laws of nature had been subverted. The man's eyes, illuminated by an otherworldly glow, met mine through the rain-drenched veil of his hood. A shock of paralysis gripped me, a scream caught in my throat as my mind raced to comprehend the unholy scene. "Don't move," I finally managed to shout, but it was too late. The man released the woman and fled down the alley, his form swallowed by the night. Instinct propelled me forward, my heart pounding as I chased after the figure. Rain-soaked clothes clung to my body as I sprinted through the desolate streets. My pistol was drawn, its weight reassuring in my hand, and I repeated my commands for him to halt, my voice lost in the tumultuous storm. He led me deep into the heart of the city, where warehouses loomed like forgotten tombs and the decay of old tenements painted a grim backdrop. His movements were fluid, almost supernatural, but I was a runner too, fueled by determination and adrenaline. Yet, as he vanished into an abandoned tenement, I followed without hesitation. The decrepit structure swallowed me into darkness, and I descended a set of stairs with my flashlight piercing the abyss. At the basement's depths, I stood surrounded by impenetrable shadows, with my heart racing. I illuminated the brick walls and scattered debris, but the elusive figure remained concealed. Then, a movement, a fleeting glimpse of a monstrous silhouette rushing past my light's edge. Following swiftly, I found myself in a pitch-black chamber. Panic surged through me as I realized the trap I had walked into, the realization that I was not alone. Stopping at the foot of the stairwell, I fumbled for my flashlight. Its beam the sole defense against the encroaching darkness. The echoing drip of rainwater was my only companion. The weight of my own breath magnified in the void. I cast the light around, revealing nothing but the eerie stillness of a nightmare. Suddenly, they emerged, emerging from the shadows with an unnatural unity. 4 figures, cloaked in black, their pale faces elongated, eyes burning red like embers, grins spread across their features, fangs gleaming in the fractured light. My pistol roared, shots echoing in the confined space as they fell, only to rise once more. Ashen remains littered the ground, their grotesque forms undeterred by my efforts. In desperation, I fled the basement, my fingers gripping my last chance at survival, a piece of broken headboard. Racing back into the basement, I encountered them again, and I fought with all I had, stakes of wood against creatures of the night. But one by one, they reformed, unyielding and relentless. My fingers found my flashlight slipping, darkness creeping in as my final breaths were stolen. The basement closed in around me, a sinister abyss from which there was no escape. Occasional drip of rainwater. My heart pounded in my chest as I scanned the brick walls and discarded debris, my grip on the flashlight tightening with each passing second. Then, a shuffling sound, a whisper of movement at the edge of the light. They emerged one by one, their forms materializing from the darkness with an otherworldly grace. 4 figures, cloaked in raven black, their elongated faces a chilling sight to behold. Eyes burn like crimson coals in the depths of their sockets, and their lips curl into malevolent grins, revealing razor-sharp fangs that glinted in the feeble illumination. My pistol barked defiantly, rounds of ammunition finding their mark. But the creatures showed no signs of faltering. They fell, only to rise once more, their bodies reconstituting with an unnatural swiftness. The air filled with the acrid scent of burnt flesh as they succumbed to the gunfire, only to reform as if mocking my futile efforts. Desperation fueled me as I lunged at them, makeshift wooden stakes in hand, driving the stakes into their chests with all the force I could muster. The brittle crunch of breaking bones was followed by bursts of smoldering ash, but their persistence was unwavering. One by one, they reassembled, their monstrous forms re-emerging from the remnants of their destruction. Darkness loomed, and I felt my strength wane as they advanced, their unearthly presence pushing me to the brink of despair. The basement seemed to contract around me, a malevolent force drawing me further into its sinister grasp. But my resolve remained unyielding, my determination fortified by the flickering beam of my flashlight. With a final surge of will, I faced the creatures one last time, wooden stakes poised for battle. Yet, their unending cycle of death and rebirth continued, as if mocking the limits of mortality. As I fought on, the line between reality and nightmare blurred, the basement becoming an abyss of eternal struggle. The relentless tide of darkness threatened to consume me whole, drowning out all hope. The grotesque figures closed in, teeth bared, eyes aflame, and I braced for the final confrontation. The epic battle between human determination and supernatural malevolence. And then, as if by some unseen force, the basement exhaled its grip on me. The figures dissipated, their screeches echoing into the void before fading away. Gasping for breath, I stumbled back, my chest heaving, the basement returning to a cold stillness. My flashlight's beam reveal only the abandoned remnants of my struggle, the ashes of a battle fought against the unexplainable. Leaving the basement behind, I emerged into the rain-soaked night, my heart still racing, the echoes of that otherworldly conflict reverberating in my mind. The city had been a canvas for the macabre, and I had become an unwilling participant in its twisted tapestry. As the rain continued to fall, washing away the traces of the ethereal battle, I walked away with a newfound understanding that some horrors defy explanation and remain forever etched in the shadows of the unknown. Story 2: The Vampire's Twisted Feast. The rain poured down in a relentless torrent, each drop a malevolent whisper against the city's windows. The streets, once filled with the sounds of life, were now swallowed by the deluge, transformed into sinister rivers that flowed with an unnerving elegance. Skyscrapers, once symbols of human ingenuity, now stood as towering canyon walls, casting ominous shadows that seemed to harbor hidden horrors. In the midst of the storm, lightning sporadically slashed through the darkness, briefly illuminating the cityscape in eerie flashes. Within those moments, the world was bathed in an unsettling mix of sickly hues, revealing the decay and desolation that the rain concealed. Thunder followed, a deafening cacophony that reverberated through the very ground. As I trudged through the rain-soaked city, seeking shelter within my unmarked squad car. Beneath my rain-soaked baseball cap, I kept a watchful eye on the struggling storm drains, desperately trying to divert the overwhelming torrents that threatened to engulf the streets. The downpour seemed almost supernatural, as if some malevolent force sought to drown the city in its own demise. Yet, amidst the chaos, an alleyway drew my attention. A flash of lightning revealed a haunting tableau, a figure cloaked in obsidian, hunched over a woman. Her feet dangled off the ground, her limp form swaying eerily. It was as if gravity held no power over her, as though she were a mere puppet in the grip of an eldritch puppeteer. The man's eyes gleamed with an unholy light, locked onto mine through the veil of rain and darkness. Fear rooted me in place, my voice trapped in my throat as I stared at the grotesque scene. "Don't move," I finally managed to command. But the man dropped his victim and vanished into the night, leaving only a chilling echo in his wake. Driven by instinct, I gave chase, rain-soaked clothes sticking to my skin as I sprinted through the deserted streets, pistol in hand. I shouted for him to halt, but my voice was lost in the tempestuous roar of the storm. He led me into the heart of the city, where derelict warehouses and ancient tenements loomed like specters. His movements defied the limitations of the human body, a creature of unnatural grace. Yet, I pursued without hesitation. The decaying structure swallowed me, plunging me into darkness. Descending into the abyss, my flashlight pierced the shadows. In the basement's depths, I was surrounded by an oppressive silence, broken only by the figure rushes past me. Its presence, a chilling gust of air. Panic courses through my veins, urging me to flee. But my feet are rooted in place, and my flashlight quivers in my trembling hand. "Matthew, come closer," my mother's voice calls softly from the shadows, and I find myself taking a hesitant step toward her. The cellar seems to pulse with an otherworldly energy, each drop of rain echoing like a drumbeat in the darkness. The narrow gap in the wall, once unnoticed, now beckons to me like a portal into a nightmare realm. As my mother steps out of the shadows, her face is pale, her eyes distant, and an unsettling smile curves her lips. "Matthew, I'm so hungry," she murmurs, her voice a haunting melody that resonates through the cellar. I take another step closer, my heart pounding in my chest, a mixture of fear and concern knotting my stomach. But then I hear it, a rustling behind me. My senses snap back to reality, and I spin around just in time to see a pale figure with leathery wings descending from the ceiling, eyes gleaming with hunger. Its grotesque form is both human and monstrous, a terrifying fusion of the two. Fear propels me up the stairs, my feet stumbling as I race toward the exit. But as I reach the top, another creature blocks my path, its screech sending shivers down my spine. Trapped between the two, my flashlight flickers, casting eerie shadows that dance like specters in the narrow space. With a surge of adrenaline, I charge forward, using the flashlight as a makeshift weapon. The creatures recoil from the light, their wings shielding their eyes, and I seize the opportunity to escape. As I burst into the rain-soaked night, my heart is a drumbeat of terror, my breath coming in ragged gasps. I don't look back, not until I'm a safe distance from the house. The Victorian mansion looms behind me, an ominous silhouette against the stormy sky. My mother's voice echoes in my mind, a haunting reminder of the nightmare I've just faced. The rain continues to fall, washing away the taint of the cellar and the creatures that lurked within. With a sense of both relief and trepidation, I vow never to return to that house, to leave the secrets of its shadows behind. As I walk away, my mind races with questions, each step distancing me from the horror that dwelled within those walls. But the memory of that night, the call of the rain, and the chilling hunger in my mother's eyes will forever haunt my nightmares, a testament to the darkness that can lurk in the most unsuspecting of places.